जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय
राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम
59%.
श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम हरि ओम ओम श्री राम जय राम that is working now. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
not showing.
No internet. No internet. No internet. No.
That has to come later.
Come.
We'll just check once.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
It's also no internet.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai At the moment, yes. We don't know when to go.
Connected. Okay, you go back.
Some problem we are facing with this internet. Yes, what is to be shared today?
Swamiji, please share something about the Svabhava and Svadharma.
Svabhava and Svadharma.
Svabhava and Svadharma. What is inherent in us, We have talks from the Gita. That which is natural, we say Svabhava. That is his Svabhava. In Malayalam, Svabhava means character. But normally we use the word Svabhava. That is his natural way of handling. Svadharma is also one's duty, we can say. We cannot explain in the technical way. Each one interprets. Vinobaji had elaborately discussed about Svadharma. At the same time, not very clear that this is Svadharma, this is not Svadharma. So again, that gives us the feeling that there is a code of conduct everywhere, which is called dharma. So what is my duty? We interpret it like that. What is my duty towards it? What is my inherent profession? Because I have been closely associating with it when I was a small child, and then it blossoms. So we can interpret it as a duty towards anything other than us. Anything that is inherent in us, natural in us. If we go probably technically, if we analyze it through various scriptures, we may get more clarity. But we have not applied our mind on those lines. We always go by the contextual or what you call a practical aspect. So these are the two things normally it comes to our mind when we say his Svabhava, his natural way of handling things. And Svadharma is what is one duty. Beyond
Inborn qualities. Inborn qualities.
inborn quality. But in one of the explanations, Vinobaji has said, one should never, even Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it says, it is better to hold on to one's own Svadharma than to concentrate on the Paradharma. So then when we keep on thinking about it, what is Svadharma and what is Paradharma? What is the perspective of somebody else? So see, suppose my inclination, my aptitude is to become a doctor, and if I am pressed to become something else.
Not working?
You better give your mistake. Every now and then, this is a problem.
Mobile, Swamiji. Shall I give hotspot?
Hotspot.
Hotspot. It is there. Take Anandashram.
You are.
Enter. MUKTA.
Nothing? Nee adichu.
Mobile, then they always woke up.
To test whether we are committed to that. He wants every now and then there is a break. Vinobaji says, Svadharma is in the nature of duty to be performed. I have already said something about Svadharma. For each of us, Svadharma is given. It comes to us naturally. We do not have to go out looking for it. We did not, as it were, drop from the sky. We are part of a stream of existence. Society, parents, neighbors, all existed before our birth. To serve the parents who gave me life, to serve the society in which I was born, is my natural dharma. Our Svadharma thus takes birth along with us. It can even be said that it is already there for us before our death, before our birth. In fact, fulfillment of Svadharma is the very purpose behind our birth. Some people say that Svadharma is like one's wife and say that the bond of Svadharma is an inviolable and indissoluble as the bond of marriage. But I do not think that this simile is quite opposite. I would rather say that Svadharma, like one's mother, is not chosen, but predetermined. No matter what sort of a person my mother is, she will ever remain my mother. This is precisely the case with Svadharma. In this world, we have nothing else to rely on. To disown one's own Svadharma is to disown oneself. To commit suicide. To disown Svadharma is to disown oneself, to commit suicide. Only in harmony with it can we move forward. That is why we should never lose sight of it. Svadharma should in fact come easily and naturally, but because of several temptations and delusions, this does not happen or becomes extremely difficult. Even if it is practiced, the practice gets vitiated. The temptations and delusions that strew with thorns the path of Svadharma have various forms. However, on analysis, we find only one thing at the bottom of it all, a restricted and shallow identification of oneself with one's body. I and those related to me through the body, it sets the limits of my expansion. So it goes on like that, Svadharma. Only in the multiplication of the germs of means and vicious thoughts and destruction of the healthy shape. So commitment to Svadharma is not enough. Constant awareness of the two other principles. What are the two other principles? Atman is deathless and indivisible. The body is insignificant and transient. Svadharma must be followed. Three cardinal principles have been enunciated in the second chapter. So this much is clear, no?
Yeah, yes.
Duty.
Swami, so my Svabhava is my tendencies and my natural habit patterns. Like we were in school, in college, we were 100 people living together, eating same food, everything same. But my habit patterns and tendencies were different. Probably right from my birth, I do not know. But from my adolescent years, I know. That we all have different tendencies. That is our Svabhava.
Yes, but I should ensure that my Svabhava does not go against the Svadharma, no?
Svadharma.
Yes. So that means we should be careful. Here, Vinobaji gives thrust to the Svadharma aspect. He says it is like my mother. I am born with my Svadharma. This Svabhava is the outcome of the inclinations, various tendencies, the after effects of my various acts. That the cumulative effect of all these called probably Svabhava. For example, when you keep...
From my previous lives.
When you keep...
From my previous life.
Suppose you keep on eating a particular thing, you develop a tendency to eat it more, no? So when we indulge in more and more, it leaves a tendency to repeat more. That shapes our Svabhava. But suppose I become aware of my Svadharma, and wherever the Svabhava trespasses, I will be able to control it. So the Svadharma should dominate my mind always. Initially we can say our commitment towards our parents, commitment towards our teachers, commitment towards elders, commitment towards our co-creations. And finally it goes on expanding. Ultimately, it is becoming one with the entire creation.
Yes, sir.
Swamiji, so it means that supposing there is a stimulus, you don't go outside the limit of your own Svadharma and react to that stimulus. Am I right?
Stimulus.
No,
Stimulus. I couldn't.
I mean, when there is an external stimulus and it is not in tune with my Svadharma, I will not react.
Correct. I should not. I may fall. I may fall into this, but I should be alert. Because Svadharma is my duty towards him, ultimately, ultimately towards him who has given me this wonderful opportunity of knowing him and serving him. In one of the quotations, immediately after the Mahabharata war, the last one, Duryodhana was also at the hands of Bhima, slain. And then he was coming. Leaving Duryodhana to brood over his wrongs, the Pandavas returned to the enemy camp to take over. When they reached the spot, Krishna ordered Arjuna to immediately dismount from the chariot. Soon, to the amazement of everyone, the chariot burst into flames and was reduced to ashes. Arjuna turned to Krishna with tears in his eyes. "My Lord, what is this I see? My chariot, which was given to me by Agni when he burnt the Khandava forest, had been burnt before my very eyes. What is the reason?" The answer of Lord Krishna, you forget about Kurukshetra, this and that, but the cream is something different. Lord replied, "This chariot hath withstood the powerful astras sent by Drona, Karna, Ashwatthama only because I was sitting in it. It should have been burnt up long ago. I have abandoned it now that you have achieved what you set to achieve. So it is with everything in this world. Each thing is created for a purpose. The moment the purpose is achieved, it will perish. When we were reading, we were thinking about the food. The moment we cook, the moment we eat, it changes its faces. Think. The quality perishes immediately. This is so even with men. Each man sets out on this journey called life with a definite purpose, and once it is served, the earth has no more need of him, and so he has to quit. This is the case even with me. I have created myself on this earth for a special purpose. It is not yet over. But the moment it is fulfilled, I will also die. And so will you and your dear brothers. But come, do not grieve. Let us be on our next task. A few lines, but something for all of us to deeply ponder. All of us have come to this world with a mission. And according to what Papa has taught us, the mission is to realize it. There are some vyavaharika reasons also. To be born in a particular family, to carry on with the Svadharma there. But ultimately, when that particular job is over, the body will be dropped. Sense of individuality will be dropped, which we call just death. Just like for birth there should be an instrumental cause, for death also there should be an instrumental cause. If I keep on adhering to the Svadharma, my move towards him becomes faster and faster. If I am away from Svadharma, then my move towards him will get delayed.
Please.
Think about it. So each one has come to this world. He is not stopping. Stopped. Oh, the moment she got up, stopped. So each man sets out on his journey, this strange journey called life, with a definite purpose, and once that is served, the earth has no more need of him, and so he has to quit. This is the case even with me, Lord Krishna says. I have created myself on this earth for a special purpose. It is not yet over. But the moment it is fulfilled, I will also die, and so will you and all your dear brothers. So Svadharma.
Swamiji, can we say
We have to do a lot of thinking about it.
can we say that Swabhava can be changed by practice, but Svadharma cannot be changed?
Svadharma is like a mother, no?
It's like,
I have no predetermined.
Svadharma of fire is to burn
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, quite right.
So, Swamiji, we are born with some tendency, a certain natural tendency, certain habit patterns, certain weaknesses and strengths. That all is above Svabhava.
That is our Svabhava.
And we have to, right? So that, and we have to kind of control that or somehow direct that towards attain Svadharma, towards doing our Svadharma.
That is why we have been asked to develop Sat Svabhava, you know. Sat Svabhava.
In the case of certain people, they are born with Sattvic Svabhava.
Sattvic
They are
Svabhava.
already, they have those qualities
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go into spiritual sadhanas. But there are, most of the people, I would not say there are, most of the people are not born with that kind of Svabhava. They have to somehow struggle hard to either change their Svabhava, and then it's very difficult to change one's own Svabhava that is born with this tendency. Maybe only by God's grace or your Papa's blessing,
Correct.
somebody may be able to do it.
Correct. That is why we have been asked to have satsang, you know. Satsang often reminds us of the Sat, the Satkarma, Sat Svabhava, you know. All those things come because of Satsanga. Either we see somebody, we hear somebody, wherever there is goodness, and if we start recognizing that goodness, that would be a more practical way of looking at it. Wherever we see goodness, wherever we start recognizing goodness, then slowly the Sat Svabhava is developing, you know. Otherwise I will not get aligned with it. Because somebody does something good for the society in a selfless way. But you should become aware of it, you know, you should have the tendency to know such things. It would have already happened. But there is something in us which makes us to dig out and then recognize that, and then we find joy in knowing it, in recognizing it, and in sharing it. If we closely observe ourselves, we find that we find joy in it. It will all add to our deposits. Goodness, goodness, goodness. That is why it says goodness is godliness. Because goodness, if you start analyzing it, it is a move from me to we. When we say something is good, it is from me to we. Any effort by anyone from me to we is a move towards him. That is why in the good old days, Puranic stories were given. Even you find, what is that name? Amar Chitra Katha, you know. There were so many such systems there. Ambli Mama, in our childhood days. It is not, there, you know, they bring out Puranic stories or certain, even Akbar and Birbal. Why? We start thinking about it. To give a taste in our mind, to develop this tendency. Righteous over unrighteousness, wherever there is an element of sacrifice, wherever there is selflessness, wherever there is bravery, they are all somehow, we are made to dwell on it. Why? What for? So that we get the tendency to enjoy such things. That tendency will slowly lead us to recognize and then ultimately, to become a part of our life. It will slowly erase our me-to-me attitude. So Satsvabhava is developed. And when this Satsvabhava is developed, Satkarma is Dharma, our Svadharma. Svadharma becomes very, very clear to us. Probably initially we may not be clear about our Svadharma. So probably we can take it that we develop Svabhava, Satsvabhava, we will become aware of the Svadharma and will be able to stick on to it to the extent possible. These are all something which we have to see. We have to think about ourselves, our own life, and see what has happened to us, and then come to the conclusion. Just because it was told, we are just dwelling more and more of. Looking back to the life God has given to us, what all facilities He offered to us. Yesterday we were sharing in Madras Live, when we were attending Swami Chinmayanandaji's lectures, the Maidan will be full, must be 1,500 people or more than that, they may be attending. But when we called for, after he goes, when suppose we got a spiritual picnic or some Satsang, it will be hardly less than 100 people. And for this spiritual picnic, which is aimed at individual sadhana, you will be having only 30-40 people. So what happens then? Unless and until we sustain it, somebody comes and inspires us. But unless and until we sustain it, it will not become a part of our Svabhava. The other one is just coming and going, You hear it, nicely. You say, wonderful, speech was but what is it that he said, we may not be able to say. Altogether, it was very interesting. That's how we conclude, if somebody asks. Every day's whole 1.5 hours lecture, we may not be able to remember. But when we apply, that is why Puja Swamiji used to always say that before coming and after going, you must go through that particular text, so that it will remain with you. At the time of hearings, you may not be able to concentrate fully on the 1.5 hours lectures. And every day, next day when he brings, he will give a brief synopsis of what has been shared yesterday. So now it is becoming clearer to us now. At that time we did not know anything. Then the purpose was to somehow develop a Svabhava where we try to recognize, Now, just now when we were coming, we opened this Krishna Leela. Immediately the transient nature of our life, immediately it caught the attention, and then we thought we would share with you. So transient nature is something, that will help me in my move towards Him. So when I have it in a subtle form, and when some book is there, or some lecture is there, some words of wisdom of masters are there, normally it will take us. Mysteriously, how we don't know. So we come back to this for Svabhava, which is necessary also to choose our company and then try to develop. We have to be a little bit firm in our conviction that we will not compromise, and then blend it with Svadharma. Whenever we find it difficult, we pray to Him. You gave me this Svadharma. You also allowed me to play along with my Svabhava. The result is I am moving away from you.
Wonderful. Yes.
Something like that.
Swamiji,
Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Swamiji,
Ah.
does the Swabhava change with respect to the professions that we occupy? Or we get that profession which is suited to our Swabhava?
Will the Swabhava?
Yeah, if our profession is in line with our Svabhava, then it becomes a successful one.
Yes, Swamiji.
Otherwise, what happened? We are doing it because somebody asked you to do it.
Yes, Swamiji.
The perfection cannot be had. That means we have to apply our whole mind on a sustaining basis. Not for half an hour, 1 hour. On a sustaining basis we have to apply. And so our priorities they also get shifted. Otherwise, so many things were attracting us, now we are not interested. All these things will become clear when we go back to our own life. We had lot of kicks and knocks, we had falls, we had failures, we had success. So now look at it and then, this is why I could succeed. That is the reason why I did not succeed. Unknowingly I create a disturbance to the people around me. If we keep on evaluating ourselves, we keep on thinking more and more deeper, and then probably we might get clarity, because God has already given all these things to us through our varied experiences. We were not taking it as a lesson. Now He is taking us to a stage where He says, go back. You remember that Martin? Then we go back to that Martin story. At the time of the 3 people coming, he did not understand. His mind was thinking about God coming in some form. But the moment he knew, he was disappointed. And when he called again God said, I had already come. So now he wants him to go back to his own life's experience. And then he gets a thrill. And that will be the stepping stone for his further life. Now every time when something is done, he will immediately remember. When you are compassionate, you play the part of God. When you are loving, you play the part of God. When you are forgiving, you play the part of God. Like that, these are all the Harishri, the first step. Later on, when whatever role we play, that is also a part of God. But to know that, first he says, when you are compassionate, when you are loving, when you are selfless, when you are forgiving, when you are expanding, you play the part of God. So the point is, whenever we get any doubt, it is better to look back at our own life as a witness and then try to know the learnings, not to go through the incidents again. No doubt you have to go through the incident again, but with a different perspective. Not from the me to me level. At that particular time we were reacting it from the me to me level. Now it is not me to me level. We are observing, So when we raise ourselves to a little higher, all these dimensions become clearer and clearer to us. At that, for example, somebody shouted at you and you felt bad. Either you retorted back or you kept quiet, but you felt hurt. Later on you come and in a satsang you find God's test comes unawares. Unless and until He gives you test, how will you know that you are above Dvesha and Raga? You are free from aversions, prejudices. How do you know that? So somebody should know fault of you, should find fault with you, and you should be able to take it like that. At that time, you were not in a position to take it. No, now that the same experience comes now, and you get a different interpretation now. So this is what we feel, that whenever we are in doubt about any terms or terminology in our spiritual journey, we try to go back to our own life, parade before our own life, the various experiences he gave, which at that time labeled as good, bad, favorable, unfavorable, all those things, success, failure, gain, loss. But now, you watch it and you replay. And probably the hidden meaning, the hidden purpose will be revealed to us.
Swamiji, Swamiji, a lot, thinking, we have to think about it deeply, and lot of introspection, மனசாட்சிக்கப்ப நம்மளே கேட்டுக்கணும் இல்லையா?
கேட்டுக்கணும், கேட்கத்தான் வேணும். அப்பதான் இதுக்கெல்லாம் இந்த விடைகள் இல்லாட்டா இந்த கேள்வியே வராது இருக்கணும். சிம்பிள் ஃபெய்த் அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் நமக்கு இல்லையே. Suppose we have got unshakable faith in him and accept everything as they are, then these questions will not torment us. We are in between Rendingatan. We know something about bhakti, something about jnana. So that is, we are unable to link it together.
அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் நம்ம எத்துவோம் இல்லையா?
எத்து இப்போ அந்த கடந்துட்டு இருக்கோமே தயிரே, வண்ண கிடைக்கும்.
தேங்க்யூ சாமிஜி.
Anything else?
There is so much differentiation between Svadharma and Svabhava of an individual, then how do I transcend from me to me?
Pardon?
When there is so much difference between Svadharma and Svabhava, how do I move from me to we?
Anything?
No, I am asking in me, if there is so much differentiation between Svabhava and my own Svadharma, then how do I collectively consider and transcend?
Here comes our subservience to that higher power, We pray to him, You have given me a human birth. You made me to gather so many experiences which are at times helpful for me or not, I feel not helpful for me. You have given me various tendencies, Svabhava in me. At one point of time you made me aware of my Svadharma also. I find sometimes, at times, there is a disjoint. Kindly help me, pray.
It didn't work in past.
It didn't work in the past, it didn't work.
For example, you are my boss.
It will work. It will work provided our commitment is there.
For example, you are my boss. I am working under you.
Swamiji, which comes first?
Somebody, 1 minute, somebody sharing here.
And you want me to do something which is not righteous and not one should not do, but you want me to do it. Being your subordinate.
Normally you will not do it.
Either I do or I quit the job. So
agreed. They are the practical problems. Whenever there is a tussle between such ideologies, your boss wants you to do a particular thing, but basically your mind does not say it should be done. You have two options: to leave the job, or to convince him, or to tell him, I am unable to do it, and face the consequence. One has to, the policeman in Quest of God, the policeman who is supposed to prevent the ticketless travelers into the train, the moment he saw Papa and the other man, He saw the ticket collector asking him to get down. Immediately he was prompted to somehow see that they travel in the same thing. That means he is breaking the law. Immediately his bosses came and said, we will report. This is not your job. They are right from their own aspect. But at that time he mentions that in these matters, it is the conscience that decides. And because of that, even if I lose my job, it is all right. That means commitment to that ideal. If I don't have the commitment, I will go along with it. If you have that commitment, God is testing you. This is all from our level. But take it that God is testing you whether you are in a position to hold on to your ideal. And if you become aware of that, God will definitely see to it that you are saved. If we don't bring God into the picture and view it from our own individual level, then probably we may not be able to bear the burden. But the moment you think, why are you making me to do it? But you will not compromise. It is against my Svadharma to do it. Yesterday there was a telephone, somebody shared with us, some top man, minister or somebody, we don't know exactly. He telephones to an officer to do something. So the officer lovingly said, whatever is to be done righteously, that will be done. Immediately he asked, what do you mean by, when I say something, what do you say? Then I said, whatever is to be done according to the statute, it will be done. He was immediately transferred. He is prepared. He is holding on to it now. And he did not want to hurt at the same time. So it all depends upon how we...
How he can transform to we?
Huh?
He remains still an individual, right?
Indeed.
He is telling how will he transform to we? He will still remain.
This holding on to the ideal is me to we.
No, Swamiji, I am saying he sticks to his point and he remains as me only. No, he doesn't become we.
Statutes are for the benefit of everybody. Statute is not for one single individual. When I said I will follow the statute, automatically it is me to we. When your idea I cannot follow, I can only follow the statute. He says that. He did not say I will not follow yours. He will say whatever is there in the statute I will follow. So the statute, when we analyze, statute is something which should be applicable to everybody. Statute has been framed by people like us for the benefit of the entire mankind. So it is for me to we. So when somebody says we will go along with the statute, along with the kind of constitution, it is automatically a me to we activity. Think about it. All those things you will try to know when you go deeper and deeper into it. What is a statute? Where from it comes? Our parliament or our assembly, state assemblies, they bring out these legislations, rules and regulations, not for one individual. There are various processes through which these statutes are drafted. And whenever it goes against the constitution, somebody goes and files a writ and the Supreme Court says it is constitutional or it is not in line with the constitution, it is struck down. Okay? Everywhere you find the me to we, me to we, me to we. Because it is applicable for everybody now, not for one particular individual. So the whole social setup, fabric of society is built upon me to we. And the problem comes only when I insist for me to me. Similarly, you apply to your professional field also.
The law has got its own loopholes. There is a problem like that. It means me to me or me to we. Law has got its own loopholes.
In good faith. No. It is not like that. Laws are made by people like us, our representatives. Yes. After elaborate processes, the ultimate ideal is me to we. It is not for an individual. It is absolutely.
How about the loopholes?
To err is human, no? When the loopholes are projected, it will be plugged. After all, that's all. Loopholes will be there. When somebody takes advantage of it, the other party goes, and then the government, that is why the government pleads, no, it is not right. It has been misinterpreted, something like that. Loopholes will be there, because the mind will, a person who has got these tendencies over nature, he will find some loophole somewhere in between the lines. So again that goes to the court, and the court finally pronounces that it is bad, right, or good. The system is wonderful, If you see judiciary, if you see legislation, everything is for me to be, me to be, me to be. Same thing applies to our family life, professional life.
Yes.
So the Svadharma, we started with Svadharma, we try to become more and more aware of what is Svadharma. Duty towards everybody. There is a wonderful explanation Vinobaji has given, Svadharma. He says again, I will read it again. Our Svadharma thus takes birth along with us. Svadharma is, for each of us, Svadharma is given. It comes to us naturally. We do not have to go out looking for it. We did not, as it were, drop from the sky. We are part of a stream of existence. Society, parents, neighbors, all existed before our birth. To serve the parents who gave me life, to serve the society in which I was born, is my natural dharma. Our Svadharma thus takes birth along with us. It can even be said that it is already there for us before our birth. In fact, fulfillment of Svadharma is the very purpose behind our birth. Some people say that Svadharma is like one's wife, and say that the bond of Svadharma is an inviolable and indissoluble as the bond of marriage. In the Hindu tradition, marriage is not a mere civil contract that could be annulled at will. It's a lifelong sacred bond. But I do not think that this simile is quite opposite. I would rather say that Svadharma, like one's mother, is not chosen, but predetermined. No matter what sort of person my mother is, she will ever remain my mother. This is precisely the case with Svadharma. In this world, we have nothing else to rely on. To disown one's own Svadharma is to disown oneself. Only in harmony with it can we move forward. That is why we should never lose sight of it. Svadharma should in fact come easily and naturally. Because of several temptations and delusions, this does not happen or becomes extremely difficult. Even if it is practiced, the practice gets vitiated. Temptations and delusions that strew with thorns the path of Svadharma have various forms. However, on analysis, we find only one thing at the bottom of it all, a restricted and shallow identification of oneself with one's body. That means me to me. Me to me is the one which prevents me to carry on with my Svadharma. So he may make us to fail, and then he may make us to realize. So spiritual journey consists of so many things, and this is also one of the things. Papa put it in a very simple word, that along with chanting, our outer life should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to become one with Him who is in everybody, Expansion. So whatever I do, whatever I think, whether at the family level or professional level or social level, it must be on the basis of this Svadharma. Me to we. Introspection will reveal this, you know. So a simple life and non-violent in nature, helpful attitude or ready to serve attitude, and forgiving, developing a forgiving nature. All these will help us. How do we know this? Only by looking back to our own life. Or God has made us to come in contact with the lives of some others also. How he tackled the life, how I felt miserable when I was dealing with that me-to-me attitude. So God is putting us on the various tests, and then when we come out of it, we find joy. At that time, we were viewing it from our individual level, our likes and dislikes, our priorities, our rights and wrongs. But now we are looking at it as a witness. And so we will be able to learn more. But now we are not affected, you know. At that time we were affected. So our mind got vitiated. Now it is not like that. Now sitting at this, when hearing this, we look back and that is why he made me to do that. I did not understand, so I also committed something. From the individual level, I started reacting to it. And the result was not only I was miserable, I made everybody miserable. So this introspection, Papa keeps on hammering about this contemplation, introspection. It is a must. Periodical introspection. Hints to aspirant. I don't think you have. You have? He wants us to do this always. Then only we will know. Otherwise, how will we know? That is the mission of the spiritual institution like Anandashram. When we come here, these are the areas where we are not crowded with our vyavaharic activities. So when we sit alone, we are trying to see what has life taught me. Suppose you start bringing. And slowly things will come one by one. Think about it. Otherwise, we will be carrying on with certain types of behavior, and then we will not know. One minute break. Man is egocentric. You can share?
Yes, we can share. Yes, we do.
I'll put it in another file.
Good.
Share this. got it.
The list of workers.
You can forget about it. Papa says, a man in his egocentric attitude sits in judgment on others' conduct and ways, while in himself he has innumerable defects and frailties which need to be scrutinized and eradicated. It has been the habit with people to ignore their own weakness and see the same in others magnified as through the microscope. Introspection and direct examination of his own heart are essential for a man who wishes to make himself pure and thereby prepare himself for obtaining eternal peace and happiness which his soul thirsts for. It is rightly said, "Judge not, lest you be judged." Let the torch of criticisms aimed at others be directed against oneself. Let the pride with which one is obsessed be laid in the dust. Let him know where he stands, what he is, what his inner cravings are, what is the disease that has seized the soul, what are the impurities lurking in his mind, what is the great obstacle that stands between him and immortal bliss and peace, what are the bonds that keep him tied down to the low levels of life and prevent him from soaring into the heaven of his real life and being. When he has, thus by deep reflection, discovered what he is, he can, through prayer, self-discipline, company of great souls, acts of love and compassion, get rid of all impediments, mental obsessions, nay, darkness that envelops his soul, and realize the splendor, power, peace, joy of the great truth that dwells within him.
Yes, Swamiji, true, 10% true.
So see, we have to be very, 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 very alert. Suppose we are attached to someone and somebody does something against, we will immediately have a prejudiced view against the other people. Forgetting this, God's ways, we cannot help it. We can only pray. We have to watch how the tendency to find fault with others can be erased. It is not possible, agreed. Not at all possible, agreed. Still we should try. Because he says, introspection and direct examination of his own heart are essential for a man who wishes to make himself pure. Rather than we are looking at others, naming them as inimical. Whereas when God is everywhere, how can he go against me? I am his child. But somehow I was made to think like that. So now at this platform when I sit and when I go through the Mahatma's words, I try to slowly realize, these are the areas where I have to improve. And he has given how to improve. Prayer, self-discipline, company of great souls, acts of love and compassion. Through this we can try to get rid of. So when there is a tussle between Svabhava and Svadharma, if these words come back to us, we might be able to set right the machine. We must try.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time I Okay. So today's this thing is we have to summarize Svabhava and Svadharma. Svadharma is born with us. Svabhava is also my inherent quality, but later on it develops, whether it is on the upper level or the lower level.
Svabhava is from external. Swabhava comes from external.
Svabhava comes from external, he is asking.
Like
Might be,
I'm
might.
born with the family or the environment I grow. For Svadharma, that is
Anyway, that we have to, that's why we say we don't want to be theoretical or technical about it. We will find out. The Svabhava should go along with our Svadharma. Svadharma is, it comes along with our birth. Svabhava may be coming in between. That is also there. Certain people, they are right-handed, certain people left-handed. It is not the expression.
Swabhava, Swabhava can change with age and experiences, but Svadharma should not change.
Svadharma.
It should be steadfast.
It is fixed. That is why he said it is predetermined. We will do some thinking, and it's a wonderful topic. We do some thinking in relation, and we will relate it to the experiences God has given us.
but that Svadharma, as I transcend,
Therefore, the result shall be Swanabhava.
Swanubhava. Correct. Swanubhava.
Svadharma also transcends from me to we. But
Svadharma.
Svabhava is
Correct.
at least
Svadharma is basically me to we. Svadharma is basically me to we. Absolutely right. Okay, let us do again. No, there is no comma. We keep on trying to get more and more explanation through our own life God has given us. Let us try to become. And what is more important is these charcha, these discussions should again give a push to our move towards Him. That is why he prompted the word Svadharma. So that should not be lost sight of. We are not interested in academic knowledge, or analyzing it. We want anything that enables me to move towards Him, to become aware of His presence. I should do that. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Hari Om, Hari Om. Pranam. Hari Om.